Hey everybody, welcome to this little mini-sode of the Squad Room. This is a quick episode going over my tips for having a successful whole life challenge. If you remember in episode 20, we had Andy Petranek on. Andy is the founder of CrossFit LA and was also the founder of the Whole Life Challenge. The Whole Life Challenge is essentially an 8-week physical and nutritional wellness program to try and get you kind of hit your reset button and get you back on track towards a healthy lifestyle. Now, as the name Whole Life Challenge implies, the intent of the Whole Life Challenge is really to be something that you take with you through, well, your whole life. So I wanted to give you some tips on what I just went through. I just went through it for the second time. To be honest, actually completed it this time and had some help and some support that we'll get into and all that. And I think that it's a great thing to go through and a great thing to try if you are looking for something to do to, like I say, hit that reset button, maybe instill some new habits. There's a lot of information out there that says that new habits take about 28 days to set in place, and I totally see that after having gone through something like this. And that almost double that time, 8 weeks, that some habits really do set in. So I want to give you some tips and tricks on how to have a successful whole life challenge if that's something you want to do. The next one's coming up on May 7th, so I thought that was kind of timely. Before I jump into those, I want to thank our sponsor for the episode, SB Tactical and the iCombat training system. SBTactical.com is their web address. You can check them out there. You can check out the iCombat system, which is essentially laser tag for cops. It's pretty awesome. Right now they have the iCombat Pro that they just launched, and that's like an in-home system, an in-home training system for the individual officer. So until now, those have been something that departments would buy, but now they have the iCombat Pro, which is available for a single officer purchase. All right, so here's how to have a successful whole life challenge. Well, actually, you know what? Before I get into that, I'm going to go through some of my stats. Okay, so it's 8 weeks, and I lost 14 pounds. I lost about 2.5 inches off my hips, 3 inches off my waist, and definitely my pants are certainly looser. I'd say almost a whole pant size down. Gun belt is certainly looser. Took that in a notch, which if you still have to wear, if you're on patrol or in an assignment where you still have to wear a gun belt every day, man, that notch feels good when you have to take it down a notch. It always sucks when you have to give it back, but when you wear a gun belt day in and day out and you have to take your belt down a notch, man, that's good. And obviously my vest is more comfortable. I actually had to adjust all of my straps on my vest. So overall, very successful 8 weeks for me. And I really enjoyed, well, I wouldn't say I enjoyed all of it, but I got a lot of good lessons out of it. And that's all right. So here's a couple of tips on how to have a successful whole life challenge. The first one, this might seem obvious, be realistic about what category you pick. Now, there's 3 different categories that they do now. They have, I think it's called performance, lifestyle, and Kickstarter. And they sound they're intended to be just what they are. So if performance is someone who's probably already eating rather heavy, like paleo diet or something very clean, whole grain, not even whole grain, whole food, grass-fed, cage-free, hitting the gym 4 to 6 times a week, maybe even more than that. And that's great, but that's not me. And I chose performance because I was a little familiar with the dieting already, and I was already kind of eating that way as it is, and I wanted to get a little bit more of the gains out of it. My wife, who did it with me, chose Kickstarter because though she tends to eat healthy, she has never been on a plan like this before that was so regimented, and she's not used to doing that sort of stuff. So I would say be realistic about what category you pick. Don't go for performance if you're just getting off the couch. And don't think that you'll accelerate your progress by jumping ahead. You're actually more likely to become defeated and discouraged when you can't keep up with what probably are unrealistic expectations about what you're able to accomplish. So, know your A point and be realistic about that. We talk about the A point on the show all the time. Be realistic about where you're at and where you can get to in just 8 weeks, because 8 weeks isn't a lot of time. All right, second one is do the measurements. Take your measurements and do the baseline workout, or do some baseline workout that's appropriate for you. you need to have benchmarks. And I forget who says it, but there's a saying out there that what gets measured gets managed. And if you're able to measure your workouts, measure your waistline, measure your weight, all those things, it's much easier to manage them. It's much easier to stay motivated, and it's much easier to see your progress as you go. And when you see your progress and you see that you're down a couple of pounds in a week, that is motivating to keep you moving forward. So don't cheat yourself out of that. It's very important. All right, number 3. This one's counterintuitive. Might get a little flack for this one, but don't set a goal. All right, this, like I say, is counterintuitive, but I find that these challenges can be challenging enough without the added pressure of achieving what is probably a rather arbitrary goal. All right, so if you follow the program, you will lose weight and you will get healthier. I guarantee that. If you follow the program and you follow the instructions, you will lose weight and you will get healthier. Okay, it's only 8 weeks, so take it as it comes. For me, I learned this by mistake. I had hoped to lose 20 pounds. That was my goal for the Whole Life Challenge, is to lose 20 pounds. But you know what? That's a lot of weight. That's 2.5 pounds a week over the course of the Whole Life Challenge. And not getting that was discouraging. But in reality, I lost 14 pounds, and that still is fantastic. Your goal should just be to A, try your best, and B, finish. Just finish clean, finish strong, and stick with it. Those should be your only goals. Don't set yourself up for failure so that after 8 weeks, you throw it all out the window and you go back to where you started. All right. My 4th tip for something like this is get someone else involved. Okay. In the Whole Life Challenge now, it's all basically all online. They have a very easy to use app for your phones, and you can create a team. Okay. So like I said, I got my wife involved. She was totally in on it. She actually ended up being way more dialed in, way more disciplined, way more in control than I was during this, and she totally kicked my butt on the point system. So get your spouse, get a beat partner, get a significant other, someone who can hold you accountable and who you can be there for too. Okay, it was really effective to have my wife join me on this. Like I say, she was much more strict than me, and though I cheated a lot more than her, she kept me honest, and she kept me from not wanting to cheat in front of her, which meant I followed the meal plan more closely than I probably would have otherwise, had she not been privy to the information and privy to the knowledge that I was trying to pull a fast one on her. All right, number 5, meal prep. Plan your meals. Not much more needs to be said on this one because there's plenty of info out there. We talk a lot about that on other episodes of this. But if you want to plan for failure, don't plan your meals. Have your meal plan set for the week. My wife and I were in different categories. She chose Kickstarter. I chose lifestyle. And that required a little bit of creativity in some of the meals, but actually not that much. In some of the meals, I just made rice on the side for her, and I just avoided the rice, and we were all good there. One of the biggest ones, and this is one my wife pointed out, don't think of this as an 8-week challenge that after it's all over, you can throw off the uniform and go back to living your life. The point of the Whole Life Challenge is the whole life. It's an 8-week challenge, and think of it as the start of your new lifestyle. Now, that's intimidating because when you start to give up things that you like, things that you enjoy, things that you want to do, and you think about the rest of your life, I think a lot of us, myself included, get hung up on the idea that, well, I can never have that again because this is my new, quote-unquote, new life. Well, obviously that's not the case, but think of these first 8 weeks as that starter, that kickstart, that fresh start, that gets you dialed in, get some new habits in place. And then after those 8 weeks, you can back off a little bit and you can start adding things in to your routine that you liked. For me, I noticed that taking away some of the carbs, especially in the morning, really helped, or not helped, but it really hurt my energy levels during workouts. And having come off of something like I had talked about in other shows about coming off the RP strength diet where I was eating a lot of carbs in the morning before workouts, I noticed a definite decline in my ability to complete some of the more heavy Metcons. So, but I stuck with it. I got the 8 weeks, and of course now after 8 weeks are over, I'm implementing those carbs, those complex carbs, and those low glycemic carbs back into my morning routines. So don't think of this as just 8 weeks and out. Think of this as the first 8 weeks of the rest of your life, and these are the good habits that you're going to be able to bring with you into your new normal. All right, 7, simple ones, snacks. Plan to have healthy snacks around. Having simple things around like almonds or bananas, and well, for me, I love that bananas and almond butter. You spread the almond butter on the banana. That took away what little sweet tooth I have, and it's also very filling. Gets you some good fats, gets you a little bit of carbohydrates. All good stuff. have snacks planned, have snacks around, have that stuff available. Fruits and vegetables are always a great thing to have in the fridge to curb some of those cravings that you're going to have from not having the saturated fats and not having the sodium-enriched foods in your diet anymore. You're going to lose a lot of water weight at first, and you're not going to be taking in nearly as much sodium, so your body's going to be surprisingly hungry for a little bit, I think. All right, my last tip for having a successful whole life challenge is have a backup to your workout plan. We all have days where some days you just aren't going to get to the gym, you aren't going to accomplish your entire plan, and you still want to get the points you want. Well, in the whole life challenge, all you need to do is 10 minutes of working out, and that includes just 10 minutes of walking, light walking. And I have found that if I had a plan to get to the gym, or if I was working a 12-hour shift and that was all I could get was 10 minutes of walking, I still felt accomplished. I still felt like I got my points. I still felt like I achieved something. And we actually got in a bit of a habit of walking after dinner, which was great for the whole family. Get the kids out, get everybody outside, enjoy the sunset. And that way I always knew that if I didn't make it to the gym, at least I had 10 minutes to go walk the dog, walk the kids. Well, I don't have to take the kids on a leash, although I probably should. But you know what I mean? Just getting outside and having that as a backup to my workout plan has worked really well. So even now, if I can't make it to the gym one day when I'm expecting to do it, I look at that dog walk. I look at that that after work walk with the kids, or when the kids are riding their bikes. That to me is still some exercise. Is it a heavy Metcon? No. Is it going to be a muscle builder? No. But at least it keeps me moving. It keeps my joints mobile, and it keeps me from going crazy and feeling also like I'm getting behind. So that was really important. Have a backup to your workout. All right, so like I said, the next Whole Life Challenge starts on May 7th. Check out episode 20 with Andy Petranek, the founder or co-founder of the CrossFit LA, founder of CrossFit LA, and co-founder of the Whole Life Challenge. Super awesome guy. He was so nice to talk to us. I went through a Whole Life Challenge after speaking with him just to try it again and see where it was. Had good results, 14 pounds. That's nothing to sneeze at over 2 weeks. And I think that there's a lot of value in that system and in that program. And it was fun having this little competition with my wife, which, like everything else, she won, of course. And she's, not shy about reminding me about that. Anyway, to go to the show notes for this episode, it's thesquadroom.net. You can check out some of the resources I talk about and links about the shows and the Whole Life Challenge, and I'll post these tips there too. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and of course, please post a review on iTunes if you think that this stuff is valuable to you. You can subscribe to our mailing list by texting The Squadroom to 44222. That's The Squadroom, all one word, to 44222. Or you can go to our website, TheSquadroom.net, and sign up for the mailing list there. Please stay safe. If you do choose to do the Whole Life Challenge, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what your results are and what are some of the challenges you faced. What are some of the successes you had? This stuff is super interesting to me because I'm a total geek, and would love to hear from you guys. Until the next time, though, take care of each other and stay safe.